YouTube viewers. Good afternoon, Facebook Nation. Good afternoon to all people, all colors, all races, all languages, no matter where you are to this earth. From my heart, I wish for you all, no matter who you are, good, bad, and different, no matter who you are. May you have a good day. May you have a beautiful day. May you have a positive day. And for whatever that you set forth for yourself on this day, as long as it's a positive benefit for all of humanity, may those goals come to fruition, and may those goals encourage others to do the same in a positive way. This is what today's message is all about. The reason that, I started the stupidity, and this is stupidity, the stupidity within humanity. And good afternoon, my name is Jebediah Muwadi. And I'm just happy to be able to receive light, to be able to receive this understanding so that I can share it with you. Although few come and few, listen to what's being said, whoever does come here realizes that this is not about money, it's not about validation, it's not about even conversation. It's just to put information out there. You do the research yourself. But most of everything that I talk about, any average person can see these things play out within their day, because this is how blatant of a world that we're in. So, which brings me to this topic. And when you read the topic, before you click on, you were like, you would think, corporate. You would think, okay, the three words would be greed, corruption, and just greed, corruption, and everything that goes with it. But instead, my three are corporate government, corporate religion, and corporate oppression, which is also is a slash and hate, oppression and hate together. So these are the different philosophies of that corporate ladder. We're living in a world of dysfunction. We're living in a world where we're seeing things that make absolutely no sense, but the person or person that can be standing in front of you or beside you would take to something that makes no sense. And this is, if you go into my videos, morning motivation videos, as well as stupidity within humanity, you'll see how I point these things out, that, it's not the people, these corporations that actually control this. The saddest thing that we think about when we think about, our government, and we think about, our religion, and we think about people in whole, we don't think that, corporations can have that much. Oh, no, it's a corporation. Oh, so what? They just got a lot of money. They don't have that type of control. Yes, they do. While you're looking for these secret societies, it's the corruption, these corrupt corporations around the world, not just here, around the world. This is all one system, all one matrix. And when you open up your eyes to see how this matrix works, I can give you. There's an old movie. It's called Cat People by Stephen King. Fair use. I'm only saying that Stephen made a good movie when you did Cat People, because it's what you're seeing now. When you think different from all the sheeple who are blind by this I would have to say oppression. That when you speak out, it's like in Cat People where the person goes, ah, and then the next person, you start running down the street, the next person, then the next person coming out the window, the next person stops the car and point, and they're like, get that person, because he or she thinks differently. So they've laid out this script, and I want to use every facet of what I just spoke about, and I want to do it really, really quick. So let's go with corporate government. Okay, I'm going to use an incident that right now it's ongoing. All you have to do is look up international students going to Canada, file a complaint in regards to their treatment, of how they're being treated. It's basically where I'm going to give you a quickness on what is taking place. With this, there's colleges all around the countries. We have them here, and they target foreign countries, third world countries specifically. Some, major countries, but specifically smaller countries, where they can charge, for people who can afford it, charge exuberant rates, 5 times the rate of what a person in Canada. If I lived in Canada and I went to that college, say for a course it cost me $10,000. No, the person that's coming overseas, that's big money, $30,000. Some even $40,000. And what was said was that, just for this one college, I'm not going to mention the college, do the research yourself. International students have filed a complaint against unfair treatment in regards to their scholarship program, as well as their housing and everything else. So, long story short, excuse me, I'm not going to stop in the flow, and I have to work when that light is coming through me. That's why I don't make videos, just to do this. If that light doesn't come through me, I'm not going to say nothing, because like I said, I've said it all. So therefore, if I say anything more, and then I will say to my, then I'm not really true to the light. So long story short, to get back to these international students that were coming from all over the world, landing in Canada. Well, when they got there, their families paid out, sold mortgages up, sold their land, sold tractors and everything, whatever they could, just to get their kid out of this state of where they are, which is a whole other subject. And when the light comes to me on that, I'm going to bring that about how these countries are being oppressed, so that you have to go to European countries in order to be indoctrinated, literally to be groomed into oppression. Because you're going to continue. What you learn and what they're going to do to you is send these international students to go back to their own land as well as here and do bad things to their own people. Instead of allowing them to have the experience where they come here and everything that was promised, given to them, and then they can have their education, have a different look. And these are children. In all my videos, I tell you how they're targeting children. This is what evil does. Evil doesn't care about adults. Evil has adults. They don't even want the children. So, getting back into it, these kids come here, they pay exuberant, their families pay exuberant amounts of money. They said just for the loans that these families are taking out, it takes 74 years to pay them back. They can't even pay the money because the countries that they're in, they got to pay crazy interest on that as well as the money that they're sending over to their children. And then the kids got to eat, the kids need clothes, the kids need books, the kids need everything else. For that loan, these people, literally their life stops. So for those parents that do that, I give you so much respect, so much respect. But also we have to, as parents, we have to start in our children that we can't take on these systems that they have in place. These systems are no good. Sure, some people enrich themselves, but think about how much harm you're doing to other people while you're enriching yourself. Think about this me first attitude where, the world is supposed to, we're reaching out to other countries to help other countries, but in actuality, we're ripping you off. So to get back into this, these students got to this college. After they did was let them study in the school, played it off, and put them in shifts. They had more kids in that school than what the school could hold and educate. So the school was only designed for the college that I'm about specifically is St. Lawrence in Canada. St. Lawrence only has the capacity to seat 400 students. So their limit is somewhere around 1,500. Let's say that, they could possibly get away with, so you have to give them some leeway. You only have, your school's only big enough for 400 people. But yet still you got 4,000 international students. Now that, at 30,000 a pop. And these students will go for a semester and then they get a letter the next semester. Now think about it. These people, they can't just fly. These kids can't fly and go home. The parents just can't fly over and get them. Remember, they got 4-year old. And this, I'm talking about the loan that I'm talking about where people can say, oh, no, it's not like that. It's just, no, try India. Try India, because this is where I'm talking about. And this, when you look up this story, this is what they're going to point out of, these students that put together this complaint. And the students that got all these other international students together to file this complaint were from India. All students were from Africa. They were from all countries around our globe, where they send recruits into these countries. And they show them pictures about how, Canada is the most beautiful place, how America is the most beautiful place. Look at our buildings, look at our skyscrapers, look at the situations that you're in. That's going to be under corporate oppression. So I'll get with that. So long story short, the kids, they filed a complaint. Nobody, they went to the school, they did what they teach and what they learn from TV. Protest, have a sit-in. So they had a sit-in, and the college had the college police or the police in that city from the removal. So even though each one of these students paid, tens of thousands of dollars to be there, they got number one, they promised them residency on campus, which that was a lie. They told them that they worked something out with the surrounding area so that the students, that they would all have housing. Then you run into corrupt landlords because they were in on it. So think about what they're doing. When I'm talking about corrupt landlords, I did a video on it because these things happen where a landlord will, take advantage of a person that they're renting to. My situation just happened to be a woman, what I'm saying, who tried to take advantage and saying no, what I'm saying, you got to go back to the videos, but I'm seeing students. So I'm just saying, I've been through it, so for, those people that are in Canada, that are experiencing stuff like that, I feel for you, because I know what you're going through, and especially when it comes to, trying to go out to, file or make a complaint. They treat you like a third world citizen, and that's what happened with me, and in the documentary, it also happened, with these students. By them being put off of the campus like they were trash after their family gave everything that they had for this child to go and make it to have a better life. Thank you, corporations, because this is what it's all about, shareholders. And, we think about, all these lawsuits, a strain of bad food goes across the country, and it's killing hundreds of people. Oh, another person died from this. Why aren't they taking it off the shelf? Why are they taking it off a year later? Oh, and then they'll, go through the process of going through Congress, and Congress, because everybody's in an uproar, and then the Congress is saying, well, tell us to, do the paperwork so that we can have you, pull the stuff off of the shelf. And they won't do it because there's tens and billions and billions and billions of dollars within these corporations to pay off. So we're in corruption. And this is one thing that, this whole election thing and all this stuff that's going on right here is corporate corruption. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into the second corporate religion. And what I mean by corporate religion is that every religion on the face of this earth is a corporation. What you do is look up the taxes, look it up. Look up the taxes. Look up that, whatever that religion is, whatever that church is, look up your tax return for that city and that state or where that place is located, and you will see that as a corporation. Although you have religious, because you're a religious entity, you receive where you don't have to pay taxes. But what we're finding about these religious developments and stuff like that is like more and more, they're getting caught ripping off their own people. And in this case, I'll take there's a church, I'm not going to say what it is, this church, come to find out that, these people own property. They're the biggest property owner in the United States. A church is. So that's a food for thought question. A real estate developer, oh, it's got to be Trump, or it's got to be another big development company. And come to find out, it's none of the above. Oh, Bill Gates got to be, or Elon Musk, they got to have, own all the land. No, a church does. And they bought this land, and they bought this land not only in this country, they bought massive amounts of land in all different countries, which being investigated for. And the people who attended these churches, they didn't have a choice whether to donate, give money. They took that money directly out of their checks, just like most of the religions are doing today on the face of this earth, 10%, when they don't offer you anything but a dream. So while they take your money and invest in luxurious things for themselves, or they invest in things that hurt people. Let's take religion that I'm familiar with, Jehovah's Witnesses. And Jehovah's Witnesses, when I was growing up and going through all that stuff, which was bull crap, I knew it was bull crap because, I'm seeing all these beautiful, walking through, these beautiful neighborhoods just to get to, this religious spot. And there were no black people or no people of color in between from leaving the projects to going to their church. And all they could do was pray. While all those people who lived in that area right before getting to that church, they were living the dream, they were living in heaven right now, just like they're doing today. The only reason is they're finding more and more people of color are seeing these types of amounts of money, and they hate you for it. And corporations love that, because that's when corporations make the most money. People aren't hating one another while we get paid. We'll pick up the tab. Hey, here's a bill. And oh, by the way, you're going to jail. So, you have to think about how we're being weaponized. We are being weaponized through corporations, in order to make money. Because I've worked in corporations, so I know all these different strategies. I sat down on board meetings, so these are things that I experienced firsthand. And anyone that knows me can tell you that I walked away from a lot of money, and it destroyed my life. But one thing that I walked away with, I found me. And I don't need your validation, their validation. I don't run after everything that's being shown to me. I take the read, I take the time to research, I take the time to really understand what's going on instead of just running with the flow. Oh, did you hear this? I even wrote a little thing about that really quick. Most people today see gossip and lies, not to look in oneself. We've seen it all. Thank you, corporation. You're doing the best job, because most people are blind. They don't even realize that they're being played as puppets. Not just in one place, but all over this country. Not just in one race, even they themselves. Now, I want to say, when I say they, I'm talking about Europeans, because Europeans have a conglomeration of power dominance. And they're unwilling to give that up. This is why they don't even their own people. They will let their own people die. And we learned this in West Virginia back in the late 70s, I would say, early 80s, DuPont, which was in West Virginia, where they were putting those chemicals into the drink water for years and years. And their kids were coming up with cancer and everything, every kind of thing, dying, tumors, all kinds of stuff, coming out with the mouth on this side, or a double ear, or double fingers. They didn't care. They wanted these people to be held accountable that did this to their children. And this company said, okay, well, we got, take us to court. And for years, they got away with it. And every day, I look out the window and say, what's that N-word doing over there in the corner? Oh, what is this? There you go. While this person is giving your kids, coming out malformed, coming out with cancers and everything, you're at the corner sitting there talking about, what are my black neighbors doing? You're an idiot. You're an idiot, you're an idiot, you're an idiot. And anyone who does things like that, you're an idiot. You can't even think for yourself. And it's bad to say, but I mean, at the end of the day, you are an idiot. And again, it doesn't just apply to Europeans. I'm extending that also to, the people that's from India, the ones who are over here, those students. Those same students, the way that they were being oppressed is how we get oppressed here. We've been oppressed like that. But now those same students will come from Canada and come here and treat us the same way that they treated them. And with all due respect, young people, makes you idiots also. Because you're only repeating the cycle of an abuser. And this is what these corporations do. They know if they take a certain place or they cause certain things to happen in a certain area, they already know those causes and effects. And all these things that they do, it's almost like what is that place where they did all those solar panels while Obama was in office? I believe it was somewhere out in the Midwest. I know the place is called Daggett or Dagger. The city is Dagger. I don't know, but I don't know if it's Colorado, Utah, somewhere out there in the Midwest. So with this, you have a whole, as far as I can see, solar panels that were up. If you look at that same place now, it's a ghost land. It looks like a huge size abandoned movie theater. So, the people, and then when you look inside the town is dead. And we're talking about here where I am, look at any town, but I'm about here. Here, they were supposed to have all this downtown area, because I've been here, lived here long enough. I think I've been here now going on like 8 or 9 years now. So yeah, I can consider myself a resident. But when I first moved here, they were in the process of doing, it was 8 years ago, in the beginning processes of redoing the downtown area. That's 8 years ago. Maybe the next video I can walk through to tell you that nothing has ever been done. And this is after millions of dollars, even millions of dollars that came from the government, and nothing was done. So when money is sitting there and money is corrupting all these different things on it, and you say, well, that's government, that has nothing to do with corporate. Yes, it is. Because that's money that is automatically, but when the government is giving out money, it's only the corporation taking that money back. That's what they take back. And on a local level, once they receive that money, now I have a friend who happens to be a contractor, but even though there's going to be bids that are going to come from all over within the state and from out of state for these contracts, I got a friend of a friend. So I'm going to allow this friend to turn around and divert this money so you get that money. And nothing gets done. Nobody goes to court. The people are angry because their taxes are going up. Again, idiots. Because the same people you're sitting there smiling in front of, you're sitting there and they're ripping you off. The same people with your same skin ripping you off. And then you're looking out your door saying, I wonder if is that person black? I think they're Eastern. Come here, honey. Take a look at this. Okay, well, just let me put down our taxes really quick and let's call the police because we feel threatened. Wait a minute, you idiot. You're paying more taxes because you got ripped off. But see, again, people choose to look out and to look within. Because the same evil that's within, they don't want to see. Because if it works for them, then who cares? And that's where they have us. So everybody's chasing after this, like little lab rats. So I want to end this with the corporate religion because I still got corporate oppression. This all has to do with corporate oppression, but there's a specific thing of corporate oppression and hate. So now I'm going to go with corporate religion, stay with corporate religion, but this is the end of it. So I want to do two things. I want to take religion, two things, whether it be from a Quran or whether it be from a Bible. If it's from a Bible, I want to ask a question. I don't want the answer. I know the answer. You find the answer. Everybody, they have a God, right? Now your God is perfect, and even though there's like thousands of religions that are all basing their religion on one book, the Bible, there's also variations of Islam that are using, they're variations, but they're using the same book. So we can't say that everybody who has a Quran, which is equivalent to our Bible, is Muslim, because not everyone does that. You have percenters, you have nation, you have Sunni, you have there's just various types, but they use the books. So I'm going to take something from both of these books. I'm not going to give you a scripture, but they're in the book. They're in these books. So therefore, go and do your research. In the Bible, there's a scripture, and it says that I am a jealous God. There's a scripture that says that I am a jealous God. Now, this is in the Old Testament as well. Well, in the Old Testament. When you get to the New Testament, you look in some of the later chapters of the New Testament, specifically after the first four Gospels, you start to look. It might be in John. It may be in John. But it says what love is and like Galatians, what love is and love is not. Love is not boisterous and love is not jealous. Wait a minute, you just said you're a jealous God. But you're telling us not to be jealous. How does that work? Did any of that? Did anyone just get that? It's a contradiction, is what it is. There should be no jealousy, period. And for a perfect being, somebody that created all this is why we have the wrong interpretation of what our Creator is really all about. Our Creator is not destroying this world. We are. We are. Because the Creator created something that's infinite. He knows that there's other planets, there's other places, there's other things going on, as well as other dimensions. So there's so much that's going on outside of our universe that, again, these fallen ones have blinded our minds. So there's truth and lies in everything. It's up to us to understand, and it's up to us to gain enlightenment. So Those are two things. So now, when it comes to the Quran, there's a verse that's within the Quran that says, you're not supposed to take advantage, like take more money. Like if I give you $5, then you give me $5 back. If you give me $6 back, if I give you $5, you give me $6 back, it's considered a sin. Do you think that same thing is playing in right now? Do you think that these people are not receiving any type of interest rate? But not only an interest rate, you're not supposed to sell cigarettes. Well, so anything that causes harm, you're not supposed to sell alcohol, tobacco, drugs, none of the above. Drugs, none of them. Where's all the poppy fields? Where are all the poppy fields? I'll wait. So again, it just goes to say that, we're following religion like it's the Holy Grail when religions come and go. So the religions we have today, the world has been going for over millions of years. Humanity, man has been documented over 200,000 years, talking about physical man. And maybe even before that, because there's documents that say we go back close to 1,000,000 years, and it's written in stone. So when you got all these new things, you have to say to yourself, maybe maybe there's a system going on that's just completely lying. And this is why we're seeing the unraveling, which is corporate oppression. Whereas I can pay 1,000. So we can take this, and this is going to be short, on a short, quick thing that we're going to do here. Corporate oppression and hate. The way corporate oppression and hate works is corporate oppression does one or two things. They buy inside information from another company, or they destroy jobs. They'll sit back and get all types of funding to help out a community because they say, well, our company, we do so much for the community, and these people rely on these jobs, and, in order for us to stay here, we're going to need, X amount of tax breaks, and we're going to need X amount of, money to help us keep afloat. So now you got these little cities and towns, like in the state of Ohio, in the state of Michigan, where all these plants are gone, and the places look like ghost towns. And that's why I'm glad that I have that privilege to travel from coast to coast. And to not just travel and go through, but travel, stop in each place. I made a pilgrimage around the United States. I've been to every state, lived in most of them except for 7 at the time. And now I have to say that 6, but 7. So I've seen a lot of this country. And, I see how oppression works. I see how, you go to these different cities, and you'll see just a group of people who have all the jobs. Like you'll go to one place and you'll be like, isn't it kind of ironic that, these people are like all Irish, or these people are all, Italian, or these people, are all Albanian, these people are all Polish, or these people are all Russian, and, in these plants. And then you come to realize that, they're set in place so that there's a hierarchy to everything. So if I come into a place, I'm not going to rise. And like I said, I sat on corporations. So I was able to experience it firsthand to see how when your ceiling rises and they're asking you, hey, dude, can you do this for us? You do really good. Well, can I get to pay for that? Oh yeah, don't worry about it. And then you get your check. You'll do it for that. Oh, well, didn't so-and-so explain this to you? You know what I mean? So these are the oppression things. They ask more to take advantage of and work you for less. Well, take Google. Where they made so much money during the pandemic, and then all of a sudden their stock just shut right down. And like I said, when these things happen, I always feel that they're getting people who are, sneaking in the back door. The little small people like me and you who get in to make these little small investments, and they say, you know what, we don't want that. Just stop. And we think that these things don't happen. We're seeing them happen all the time. So, it's up to us whether we want to continue to sit back and to condone these things. And, the light today was because I was talking to, one woman who's a good friend of mine, and her cousin came from Zimbabwe. So I was explaining how, there's people here in our United States who really want to go there. Me personally, I want to go there myself and live. But I know I have to wait, a few years before I can do that. So I'm willing to do that. That's where my mind's going to rest. So, there's people that want to go back, but I was explaining to her about, back in 1776, how the United States came up with this same recruitment program that they use with college kids. Come to the United States, you get 5 acres of land for 25 cents. Come on in, you get your own cattle, bulls and all kinds of animals. You could come, build your hut, but at the same time, it wasn't extended to all people. So people came in and they got ground in, got their footwork, just like a corporation. We are a republic, so we are a corporation. And, they got their little infrastructure set up, and they've never given it up since. And the thing about it is that infrastructure is on shaky ground because now you have other countries that are standing up and saying no. And the only reason that we're not talking tough stuff, and like I said, even no matter who comes in office, even like right now, if they sat back and they say, oh, we need people to go and help Ukraine, or we need people to go and help this. Think about how many people of color are thinking about this war. Not me. I'd be at first to say it, not me. It's about time to stop running into countries with people of color. And that wasn't something that we did, that was something that Putin did. And you can look at that however you want to look at it, but the matter is that the system, the matrix that has been put in by these corporations, who put in all these political puppets worldwide, all that system is coming down. The only way to stop that system from crashing is to turn us all against another. So that's all I want to say. I know that was kind of long. Hopefully I can speed it up so that, it goes a little faster. But at the end of the day, we have to open up our eyes. We have to dialogue with one another. You got to look in order to see what's going on without. You can never sit back and say, hey, I understand what's going on. I'm woke. No, you can't be woke if you don't understand who you are. Because when you wake, when you do become woke, it changes. I mean, completely changes your life, and it's out of your control. Something that you can't control. So that's how you know that you're awake. So let's all wake up, but let's also try to be understanding to one another and have these, because as long as we don't have these discussions, people are going to sit back in the blind, and we're going to continue to see what we see. Our children are killing one another right now. People run schools. And we're sitting back and we're saying, oh, it's the politicians, they want to take away our guns, we have more guns. No, what about you as a parent, you idiot? What about you as parents, idiot? What is making them do what they do? This is why this channel is stupidity, the stupidity within humanity. Because anyone that can sit down with me, anyone that can sit down with you, you can see the stupidity in some of the things that. But knowing where that stupidity comes from and the program that they got that stupidity from, then you're able to have dialogue to say, hey, look, you're not the only one who felt this way. I believe this too up to a certain point. But once I have, looked at, researched these for myself, come to find out it's a lie. But if you're lying to yourself, then you can't afford to speak up because you're afraid that your lies might. So let's change us before we change others. And let's dialogue with ourselves before we dialogue, or understand ourselves before we dialogue with others. So with that, everyone, men, women, children around the world, may you have the best day, may you have all, for whatever goals that you have set forth for yourself, for as long as it entails the benefit and the positivity for all of humanity, may those goals come to fruition. And with that, have a beautiful day. Peace and blessings.